From deep in the Burbank Media District, it's time for another edition of My Burbank Talks, presented by the staff of My Burbank. Now, let's see what's on today's agenda as we join our program.
Hello, Burbank. Craig Sherwood here with you once again, along with in the studio, Ross Benson.
Hey there, tally ho. Let's go with a show that will roll.
More and more words that rhyme. And of
What do you
course,
know?
through the magic of Zoom, is Craig Durling.
He's
Zoom,
getting
zoom,
chased.
zoom.
Are you getting chased?
With a preview from the upcoming Elephant Walk exhibit starting on July 1st. We got one more show between now and then, but here's some more elephants for you. They're elephantastic.
Well, we have 26 in the show, so that's a...
Here's three of them. They're making their way over there.
It's going to be
IKEA.
I think it's going to be interesting. You know, these artists, it's just different. It's just,
Well, I'm hoping to get to IKEA to see them all together rather than hunting them down around the city. They're all going to be there for a period of time at IKEA, right?
I sure heck hope you don't have to go in the store and try to find your way to every elephant.
No, I think the event is in one of the parking lots.
Good.
According to the press briefing.
You know what I hate about social media is that you get these notifications all the time. I got a notification today from LinkedIn. It said, congratulate Ross Benson on his 51 years at My Burbank.
Wow.
That's a long time.
Wow, we've been doing this show that long?
I guess so. Somehow you've entered into LinkedIn and you've been in My Burbank 51 years.
Burbank has belonged to Ross Benson for more than 51 years, I'll tell you that.
So I thought it was kind of like, okay.
Did I have hair back then?
I don't know.
51.
You're the one who put it in.
No,
me.
I did. I'm not on LinkedIn.
Well, somebody put you on LinkedIn then because...
I like how people assume you're on different platforms. I was at a conference in Vegas last week and talking with another professional, and he goes, what's your name? Okay, yep, this. And he puts it in his phone, and he turns around and shows me a list of non-matches. And I'm like, I'm not finding you in here. I'm like, I've never given you my phone number. You wouldn't be in your phone. Where are you looking me up at? LinkedIn. Like, I'm not on LinkedIn.
Yeah, I'm not.
That's why you're not here.
I think I have a LinkedIn account. It's to get a job or something, and I'm not looking for a job right now.
It's kind of becoming kind of a social network for professionals now. It faded out for a while some time ago, but there's been a resurgence in LinkedIn it's like an online resume.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I never use it.
But it's a way for people to reach out, contact each other, and it's kind of like a Rolodex now, a digital Rolodex, I guess. So it's having a bit of a resurgence, but
so they don't want to use Facebook or Instagram or
Facebook's
MySpace
going away.
Or anything else.
Facebook's going away. Anyway, there's some diehards still using it, but I'll try to contact people we're off on a tangent here, but through Facebook. But so many people don't even check it anymore.
No, I put our shows on our My Burbank Facebook page, but I don't look at any of the comments, or I don't look at any of the stories. And I haven't looked at that in probably a year. I couldn't care less about it.
Who owns LinkedIn? It's got to be owned by one of these big...
You going to make me Google it?
Oh.
I'm the only one in front of a computer, so...
Yeah, you are. But isn't it owned by... Where did they get their facts?
Microsoft. They've owned it since 2016, so...
So Microsoft thinks you've worked for My Burbank for 51 years.
Thank you. Now I know why I'm getting bills from them every other day. You owe on your Microsoft account.
Well, let's get back to the show here because people...
Have we started yet? Let's get started.
People here are dying to hear last week's winner, and that was...
Have you played the owner? Are they open already?
Yeah, I think we have. And last week's winner of the word, which was flag for Flag Day,
the word of the week.
Word of the week was Robert Poyer. So congratulations on Robert. He sent his address in. In fact, I mailed the gift card out today. So
excellent. Congratulations, Robert. Thanks for playing. Thanks for listening.
And we'll have
thanks for staying up that late.
And also, or just listening that long, actually. And also, he wins a $25 gift card to Hill Street Cafe on Glen Oaks here in Burbank.
Big winner.
And keep listening because we will have another word of the week sometime in this show that you can also win that $25 gift card.
It's funny. I talk to people all over Burbank, and quite a few of them say, that Hill Street Cafe is pretty darn good. Never a crowd. You don't have to wait 20 minutes to get a seat.
That's what's funny. Everybody says it's pretty good, and yet there's never a crowd there. So I'm not sure when everybody's there, but I'm glad.
Well, it's a good sized place.
Yes,
there's a lot of seating there, but
built as a Bob's Big Boy.
Everybody should check it out, regardless of whether they win the gift card or not. But listen up toward the later part of this show for this week's word of the week, and you'll get instructions at that time.
Absolutely. Well, last week was a very quiet week, actually. So last week the council was dark. Last week, no meeting, and Wednesday I have in fact, Ross, go ahead. I have a note from Hero for Wednesday last week.
I saw somewhere one of those. So I think Eric Anderson, I think we're friends on something, and he designed this year's 2025 Rose Float. It has officially started construction. Now, people kind of probably wonder, what are we in June? But the chassis, there's a car under there. Years ago, it used to be a Corvair because they didn't have to have a radiator. Corvairs were water cooled or air cooled. Well, they
don't go fast enough on the parade route to air cool.
No, but you know what? That used to be a problem of the vehicle that the floats are built on, that they'd overheat.
Right.
So I'm gonna, Mr. Durling, what is the name of this year's float?
Oh, you're punting. Well, the initial working title for the Burbank float for next year was Prehistoric Fun, but the final name was just released, and it's Having a Lava Fun. Now, if you want me to talk about where that comes from,
well, yeah,
please do.
What was the theme? The theme was of the parade in 2025 is best day ever, right?
Yeah.
So, Having a Lava Fun, Burbank's submission here. The contest winner, there's a contest every year. People submit their ideas, and Eric Anderson, his design won this year, and it's kind of a prehistoric theme. It's in their words, it's a whimsical tribute to the fun-loving, youthful spirit in all of us, represented by a host of the world's most popular dinosaurs, all in their peak of childlike cuteness. And the artist rendering of the float looks fantastic. There are dinosaurs, cute and ugly. There's a big dinosaur in a puddle. There's a volcano going off. There are pterodactyls flying around.
What the? Wait. What is a pterodactyl?
Those are the flying ones.
The flying dinosaurs.
Yeah.
We had those?
We had those.
Well, they're going to be on the float.
Oh.
But I can't wait to see the finished product. But they do start this early because it takes a long time to design these. They have to go through a judging process, and stuff like that. And they have to acquire all the ingredients, organic ingredients, to put these floats together. So there is a lot of fabrication, a lot of custom build work that goes into these floats. So they'll be working on it from now until January 1st. I guarantee it.
I wonder why they spelled lava LVA.
They don't.
I'm looking at the notes right here. It says LVA.
I thought we changed that. Isn't it?
Oh,
we spent 5 minutes before the show correcting that spelling to LAVA.
I was going to say, I always knew lava.
You need to come to rehearsal, Mr. Sherwood.
Well, no, I just okay. Well, I'm getting to that.
No, he just wants to point out that I made a typographical error.
I did not know you made an error. I thought that's the way it was. They had it down.
Well, it is weird. It is a weird. I want to hear. I can't wait.
Lava fun. All the dinosaurs are having a lava fun. They're having a lot of fun.
Yes, they are.
And the lava is introduced by the volcano.
I wonder if they understand that lava probably killed them all.
Well,
that was an interesting thing, because initially, when I looked at the theme, I said, well, this doesn't appear to be the best day ever for the dinosaurs, because you got this volcano going off, and is this the day that they all went extinct? That would be a terrible day for the dinosaurs. But now, after reading the explanation, it makes total sense now.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? The day of the parade, I'm going to wait for Bob Eubanks and Stephanie Edwards to say the Burbank name. By the way, if anybody's interested, you can go to burbankrosefloat.com, or they have a page on Facebook. If you want to get involved, they got weekend work parties going already.
And you can follow along through the progress of the build, and there are usually days you can go down there and observe for a little bit. Toward the end of the process, it's kind of a top secret situation down there, very secure, but you can get sneak peeks along the way for sure.
Well, it's funny.
BurbankRosefloat.com.
My daughter-in-law's mother was just in town for a couple of days, and she told me that is on her bucket list is to come out in December and January to work. She's a big floral person and loves flowers and loves gardening, and this is on her bucket list to come work on the Burbank Rose Float.
Well, we know why she really wants to come to Southern California
Yeah.
in the winter, because it gets pretty cold up there in Canada.
Yeah. Moving on.
Well, moving on. Thursday, my Burbank, we published an obituary, and Ross, why don't you? I did not know the gentleman, but you said you did know. It was in your class. You said, or
Class of '73, Mike Delbarian. A lot of people in this town knew Mike. You drive around and you see lawn signs that said Mike's Lawn and Firewood Service. He kept his lawn. He lived over on Jeffries. His lawn was gorgeous. You would not find a blade of grass out of it was just cut perfect. He has a couple of houses over there. A lot of people in town. He also sold firewood. So Mike was quite well known. He was a Burroughs supporter. Played in '73. Then he went on to Cal, I think, Valley and somewhere else. But Mike passed away at the age of 59. Very unexpected. And they're going to have a memorial service. The obit is in my Burbank.
it'd probably be more, maybe 69. I don't think 59.
You're right. I don't even know how old I am. You're right.
You know what? Neither of those dinosaurs.
You don't have that many fingers or toes.
The dinosaurs never knew their age either.
Wow. You're right. 59. I'm,
69.
God, I give up. How old am I? I've lost it. It's
I
the
don't
meds.
mean to laugh during this part of the show, but
It's the meds I'm on. Sorry, Mike, for your loss, for your family,
Yeah,
your wife Joy, and your daughter Megan.
Yes.
And if you want to read the obit, like I said, there will be a memorial service. Calvary Bible Church down on Main, I believe, first week. It's in the obit. Quite well known. Mike was a big guy in town, and we hate to see people are dying off to.
Well, moving on with our heavy hearts right now, and boy, I hope we're not depressing everybody on our show today. But Friday there was another unexpected death. This time of a Los Angeles County firefighter. I see, Ross, you got some notes down here, so why don't you go ahead and tell us about it?
Well, we turned on middle of the day. We monitor a lot of channels, monitor county fire and city fire and so forth. And there was a firefighter killed in the line of duty, and hopefully I don't goof up his name. I've written it down here 3 times. Andrew Pontius, a 19-year veteran of the Los Angeles County Fire Department. They went on a routine call for LA County, which was a front loader, a tractor that had caught fire at a cement quarry, and something unusual happened. Something exploded, killing this firefighter. Now, firefighters go to work every single day. They never know what type of fire they're going on. When that bell goes off, you respond on it. I know Craig Derling has been at how many car fires, how many truck fires. Here's another example why.
Well, they take every precaution too. They're not just running in there blindly and just doing it. I mean, they were taking all the precautions, and like you said, something very unexpected happened.
Yeah, it's worth noting that this was also kind of a unique vehicle to be called a vehicle fire. It's, they go day in and day out. They respond to car fires, truck fires on the freeways and roadways. So they get fairly, not routine, but they get familiar with those vehicles and the different hazards involved with them. This being a skip loader or tractor, a very large commercial industrial vehicle. It can have propane tanks, CNG tanks. The tires are extremely large on this. It's unclear to me exactly what type of explosion occurred that took Andrew's life and injured another firefighter nearby. But I don't want to speculate on that. But this was kind of a unique vehicle that they probably don't work with every day.
Well, and saying that, being a fire photographer, Craig, you've chased how many fires? When we go on calls, everybody is warned. Firefighters every day, they share information and they go on this call. With the cars that we have today, with these bumpers that have explosives in them, if you hit the car in front of you, how they work, your airbag is fired off
Bumpers,
by
airbags, air curtains everywhere, seatbelt pretensioners. Those can cause
Yeah, how about
issues.
electric vehicles by themselves? Those are that's a whole
Absolutely.
new can of worms now.
Yeah, so
Yep.
when you think about it, and I know there was a procession. I kind of monitored it from the site out in Lake Los Angeles all the way. I think they said 56 miles, and they
Went right through
proceeded
Burbank.
went right through Burbank. I talked to people that were Burbank Fire Department set up their large truck on the Magnolia Bridge and put up their huge flag. Burbank Police Department was at attention with police cars and so forth on the Burbank Bridge. I was listening to the procession when they came through town. They had a county helicopter overhead, and I think the procession was, they said, miles long
Yeah.
of fellow
Worth
people.
noting how many non-public safety people came out to pay their respects along the route as well.
Yeah, and I think it should be noted that these guys go to work every single day, right? Like our local police department, every police officer out there, and you don't know what your day is going to entail, and this is just another one. So when you see a fireman or a policeman, you thank them for putting their life on the line, So that was a sad day. I don't know if there has been a funeral. I don't think so. A lot of things like that take some time, but I know it will be a big one. I know Burbank will participate.
Hey, just real quick, I want to bring something up that just came to mind. Is after these firefighters unfortunately went down, the job continues. The fire doesn't stop. The work doesn't stop. The calls don't stop coming in. So if you notice throughout the day, that fire burned for quite some time. So when that hose line went down, somebody had to pick that hose line up and keep addressing the fire. It's when a big event, you think a big event like that the fire department closes down, everything stops to deal with that, right? No, those calls keep coming in. The 911 calls keep coming in. The barking dog calls keep coming in. So the work continues even throughout the terrible event like this.
And it it reminds us, even now that was LA County, there's a brotherhood of law enforcement and fire. It doesn't matter what patch you wear.
Exactly.
You're out there doing service.
Anybody would have gladly gotten in line, to pick up that hose.
Yeah, so there will be LA County Sheriff's is handling the investigation. I guarantee with quite a few other Cal OSHA and so forth, they'll find out what caused it because these firemen need to train again. They'll go on another fire like this, and that's what's the line, Craig? They use
this will not have happened in vain.
Oh yeah,
this will be many lessons to carry forward for ever, basically, with these types of vehicles. So I'm sure they're going to learn a lot and take a lot of information from this event.
Well, and people don't realize, they say there's a slogan, police and fire, you train as if your life depends on it. And that means every day.
May very well.
When you see the firemen driving back to a station, they're not going to go back and lay in their lazy chair. They go back to train. They train and train and train how to climb a ladder. Think about it. I was a fireman, an industrial fireman for some time at Warner Brothers. Think at 3:00 in the morning, a fireman gets woken up, responds to a call, climbs on a roof with flames coming through it, and puts his life on the line. Would you want to do that? That's why it's so hard for these guys. They pick the best. This gentleman, 19-year career, 19 years, and nothing ever happened to him before. And boom, this tragic accident. So our hearts go out to LA County, to all law enforcement.
First responders everywhere.
Yes.
A tip of the cap.
Exactly.
Well, let's get on to something a little more pleasant for the last part of the week. And that was, of course, Father's Day festivities. Now, Dodge, you're here did for me what he usually does, which is lay down and sleep.
What he's doing right now, he's on camera and he's snoring.
Yep.
I mean,
Didn't bring me
Worth
any.
noting that Dodger's a dog,
Oh,
for
yeah,
those
that's
that might
true.
not be aware.
Well, don't tell him that. But Ross, you're the only of the three of us. You're the one who is a father. So, how was your Father's Day, and what'd you do?
got to sleep in. My son, Matt, everybody probably heard that President Biden was in town, former President Obama. They were at a very large fundraiser, and my son was the gaffer on the show down at the Peacock Theater. I think it's down at that whole, all those theaters down there. He was the gaffer. He said, "What a show!" He looks at it the technical, but as I was sharing with Craig Derling, my son said the Secret Service. My son was blown away. I mean, these guys are. We talk about law enforcement.
Watch your terminology there.
Yeah.
Secret Service did not blow your son away.
No. But they are so precise.
They impressed him.
Oh, they impressed him. They were up in the catwalks. They have parts that work the lights up in the catwalks. And Matt escorted the agent up there. And, during the show, nobody could be up there. And they had snipers up there and everything. And everywhere the president walks, it is so, and they look at their watch. There's a board in the back says where he'll be standing at what time. If it's a photo.
And there's probably a lot they don't want him to share.
Oh, yeah. Exactly.
Publicly, right?
Yeah, and it's like the photographers. It says they'll shoot 6 pictures, and that's it.
At least the nice thing is you don't have to worry about Joe Biden running around the stage or something.
Well,
wherever he's going to be,
maybe
he's
off
going
the
to
stage. But I wanted to clarify everybody out there that Matt being the gaffer does not mean he's the one there making gaffes. We'll leave that to President Biden.
He does not need any help doing that on his own. Trust us. Yeah.
Yeah, gaffer. If you're wondering, in the field, gaffer's in charge of all the lighting, electrical, and at the end of the day, they loaded out. How they did it, I mean, he said it was a quick, what they call load out, all the lights, all the equipment. And the agent in charge came up to Matt, shook his hand, and said, "You run a very good ship on this show. Thank you very much." And that kind of impressed my son.
Well,
so.
Matt is a consummate pro, very talented, and so
And an Emmy Award
to come
winner.
full circle, this made for a good Father's Day for you.
Well,
Yeah.
you're gonna laugh.
Did you get to see Matt on Father's Day? Did you get to see him?
I didn't get to see him. We did talk. We always talk every single day. We talk. He tells me about his shows he's on now. He's already flown back to Milwaukee for getting ready for a convention.
Oh, I hear that's a terrible city.
He's
That's what the guy in charge says.
that's what the guy in charge
power
said.
Tools.
Yeah, right. But he's back there getting ready for the next convention. It's a long.
You know what Milwaukee does not have is any 5-star hotels. It's very strange because I once during the summers I used to go and spend time with the St. Louis Cardinals when I had one of my players playing with them, and so I would stay at the team hotel, and one of the places we stayed was Milwaukee. And he goes, and the guy, Jeff said to me, he goes, "Yeah, sorry about this. They got my really sorry about this, but this is the best hotel they have in Milwaukee. It's not 5-star, and their contract says they're supposed to stay in 5-star hotels in every city they stay in.
They have a lot of breweries, though, don't they?
Oh yeah, they have a lot of breweries there.
Well,
it's a nice city. I enjoyed my time there. Because it was in August, so it was great weather.
Yeah.
We
I just think
saw
it's cool
Lambeau Field.
that they named places where they make beer after a baseball team. That's pretty cool.
Wasn't the other way around? You don't think, huh?
Well, he did.
Maybe. I don't know.
We text today, and I said, "How are your accommodations?" He's sleeping in a dorm. Apparently, one of the colleges. It's empty during the summer, and that's where they're putting up the whole crew. I said, "How's your bed?" He said, "It'll do." He said, "I just came back from Target with $300 worth of stuff to make my room look nice and be comfortable." So,
how long's he gonna be there?
5 weeks.
Oh, geez, yeah, he better make it comfy then.
And they're sending him home, or he's coming home somewhere in the middle, and then he's taking the family back there for the last week. So,
well, as everybody out there listening and watching can tell, Ross takes a lot of pride, as he should, in his son Matt. And hearing of Matt's successes and ongoing successes makes for a great Father's Day.
You're very true.
I try to do my best Huell Hauser
that's my
wrap up there.
Remember, it's Emmy Award winning Matt Benson.
That's right.
that he has walked away with an award. And it just, when you get asked to do a job with, I said, how did it feel to be in the same room, so close to the president?
Well, you've been like that before.
Well, I have been to the White
So
House.
have I was with Ford over at Lakeside one time. Just feet away from him. And you're starstruck for a second, and then you realize he's just a man.
Very true. And,
I've had the honor of participating in the protection of 3 presidents.
Yeah, isn't it, and
Didn't lose any of them.
Thank goodness. Austin fan would be busy.
But I will say that, I'm real proud of Matt and, him he gets picked for the top shows. I mean,
well, he makes the top money too.
That he's
Got
doing
bills
rather
to
well.
pay. Matt, he got bills to pay.
Yes,
Well,
he
that
does.
wraps up a relatively quiet and somewhat solemn week.
We're a little bit off the topic to a point of Burbank, but I think it's still relevant material that people should find interesting. So.
Well, it's funny because you in the show notes or you wrote to us, not a lot went on this week. So if you have to do any fill, there's enough stuff going on in Burbank.
For you two, I knew you'd have no problem. Okay, well, that's it for the week that was. We'll take a quick commercial break and be back with the week that shall be.
Enjoying the show right now? Thinking you may want to do your own podcast? Burbank Talks is renting out our podcast studio on an hourly rate. You can do audio podcasts or both audio and video, and even bring in guests to talk with. We will help you get set up on podcast platforms and start a YouTube channel, and we can edit your productions to make you look and sound your very best. If you are interested, please drop us an email at studiorentals@myburbank.com. That's studiorentals@myburbank.com, and we will get back to you. Now, back to our show.
All right, Burbank, we are back with you again for the week that will be. And
that would mean Monday, 6/17?
That'd be
the 17th, to the day of
the day we record.
The day of recording.
We're back on schedule.
Back on schedule. Well, interesting here. So, first thing I see is a note you left for us here, Ross, and something I did not know, which I'm really glad you put on here. And that's about the people changing over at the airport, including a new fire chief, with Tom Lenahan now exiting the chief's position in the fire department. So, why don't you give us a rundown on what you got here?
Well, I read the agenda for the commission, the airport commission, and apparently at today's meeting, they introduced a new deputy police chief, Neil Gallucci, who previously was the chief in Carlsbad. He will answer to the director of safety services, who we all know, probably the top cop in town, Ed Scavarna.
Great guy.
Still the top cop in town.
Former Burbank police officer.
And he was just, what they have done is, as I understand, he's in charge of, he's the director of safety services, which he oversees fire, oversees the whole airport. When those big C-130s land, he's out there with the FBI.
Or those Osprey.
Well, he's primarily the police chief, but because he wears a police uniform, but he's in charge of all safety services at the airport. Right?
Kind of like, isn't the county sheriff more than just he's
well, in many counties they're also the county coroner.
Well, yeah, he also gets 5 pips though. The sheriff gets 5 pips for the county, where other chiefs don't get 4 pips.
Right.
What's a pip?
A little star that goes in the collar.
Oh, okay. Well, in some LA County has its own. Well, here's a rabbit hole, but has its own coroner. But in counties that don't have them, the sheriff is usually also the coroner. But I digress.
So I guess, as I understand today, catching a little bit of the meeting and looking at the notes in the city manager's file, is with the new terminal, there's a lot of safety concerns, and that's what Deputy Police Chief Neil Gallucci is going to be working on, kind of frees up Ed for doing everything at the airport. But also, like you said, Tom Lenahan, who we've known, he was a Burbank firefighter and then moved up to the rank of fire chief, battalion chief, fire chief. He retired at Burbank a couple of years ago, went to work as a fire chief at the Burbank Airport. A lot of people don't understand. They have their own police force there. They have their own fire department over there. And
it's actually not the Hollywood Burbank Police Department, or it's the Hollywood Burbank Glendale Airport Authority Fire Department.
right, I think that's what it says on their patch, if I'm right.
Yes, but that people don't realize that it's not the cities that own the airport. Yeah, airport authority is who they actually do work for.
Right, but Craig Durling, don't they get paid by an outside company that, if I recall, but there's also, I guess, Tom retired as fire chief, and the airport has a new fire chief replacing Tom Linehan, who Louis Panka, who has been with the airport fire department for 10 years. He previously was a battalion chief in Tucson, Arizona. And they were both introduced today at the commission meeting. It kind of looks like the Louis Panka, who is a new chief out there, probably has quite a bit of experience at the airport. He's been with them for 10 years. So it's nice to see somebody move up the rank. And the airport has, we listen to it on the radio. They have, police, fire. Every time there's
we can still listen to them on the radio. They don't go encrypted. Thank you.
Right.
So, okay, well, let's move on here. Okay, Tuesday is, well, it's tomorrow already, and guess what the council's doing? They're dark again.
What?
They're dark.
I was all excited for this one.
2 weeks in a row.
Holy macaroni. Dark
So,
again?
Yeah.
Cross out on my calendar again. I have so many X's on my calendar.
Well, I noticed the electrical rates are going up. Are they trying to save power in the council chambers?
Yeah.
Is it actually dark when they don't meet? Do they turn the lights on?
No, it's dark. Okay,
It's dark. It's
Yeah,
dark.
Okay, all right.
Oh, and then Ross, you have another notable passing here for tomorrow. I hope this has already happened, and we're not trying to predict the future.
Oh,
geez.
this was just an insert. I'm sorry. It didn't happen tomorrow.
Oh my gosh! Somebody call her quick.
Well, some people might remember.
I'm sorry. I am so sorry. I'm laughing on something like
bad.
that.
That's bad.
I forget her maiden name, but Marcia Bell, who was our library services director for many, many years, passed away recently. She was married to the former police chief, Glenn Bell, who passed away in 2019.
Another legend.
Yes, he was.
Yeah. And they met on the job. It was funny. They used to, she was library services director and he was a police chief. And those Tuesday nights, I guess, were rendezvous or whatever.
And she threw the book at him?
A police chief and a librarian walk into a bar.
Sorry, I couldn't not.
That was too good, Craig. That was perfect. I know they moved up to Big Bear. Glenn Bell had a house up there and loved it. And I guess they moved out to some beach community, and they were longtime Burbank civil servants. So it's unfortunate, but we're all getting there. And Marcia Bell passed away, and she's now, as they say, joined Glenn up in whatever.
Wow. Well, those were
Valhalla.
two Burbank legends in local government for sure.
That'd be Valhalla, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I guess so. I love this next one.
Okay. Well,
I got a question for you when you get.
I saw.
Turn up the fun here.
I saw this on the city calendar, and it's called Burbank Bites Back.
Ouch!
And it's on Tuesday morning from 10 to 11:30 at the Chamber of Commerce. It's a town hall that is dedicated to the heart and soul of Burbank, its restaurants. And the mayor, Nick Schultz, will be there, industry experts, and fellow restaurateurs for a critical town hall meeting to voice concerns and challenges operating in today's digital world. So it sounds like all the restaurant owners are going to get there and talk restaurant and talking about how things work in probably with delivery and DoorDash and all those things. And
Well, I was told today, I asked, because the chamber isn't that huge if you got every restaurant owner in there, but they're bringing in some experts that know restaurants have gotten hit hard, with this now minimum wage that you have to pay waiters and waitresses and everything.
Well, yeah, but I got to tell you what. I went to Wendy's the other day. I got the Wendy's combo meal, and I got some chicken nuggets for Dodger, and it was $31.
Holy!
And I go, $31. I go, okay, you're paying everybody $20 an hour now. I get that, but $31 was probably a $12 meal before. I go,
That's because the state wants to punish everyone.
oh man, I just see fast food is now expensive food.
Well, talking to somebody today that knows a couple of these restaurant owners want to help out the smaller, and they're not only getting hit with costs, but July 1st, that law that Burbank passed
Right.
about the
Utensils.
recyclables, yep, and all that. So apparently, they're getting together. They have the nucleus, owners of some, and they're bringing in some pros to help. Chamber isn't that big, but I guess they're going to see what they can do to help out the restaurants.
Well, it's important to note, if you're listening to this podcast on Tuesday morning, the meeting we're talking about is right now.
Yes.
It's Tuesday morning, the 18th, from 10 to 11 a.m. So jump in the car and go if you want to get there.
You made me have to think there. I'm thinking, wait a minute.
I can do math pretty quick sometimes.
Did I miss something? What's Wednesday, Craig?
Well, it's Juneteenth Day.
I beg your pardon.
It's Prince Spaghetti Day.
What?
Sorry, it's a Boston reference.
Oh,
Everyone
okay.
from Boston will
That's
know
why
what
they
I'm
went
talking
right
about.
over our heads. Yeah, those Boston people
But
are.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to snipe Juneteenth.
Those apples. How about damn apples? What did Matt Damon say on that thing?
That is not Boston.
Well, that's what I heard in the movie, and he said they're supposed to be the Boston Kings.
Well,
Well,
you like apples? Yeah. Well, how about them apples?
I
There
have
you go.
been around Mr. Durling when he comes back from visiting his hometown. He has that
Yeah, that's swang.
That
Huh?
Boston talk.
Well, the congratulations to the Boston Celtics. They won the championship tonight.
Oh, that had to get in here.
I had to get that in there, even though I don't really follow basketball much anymore. They are my hometown team. But I've always joked that if I go, I've lived in California for 30 years now, and I can go back home and spend 2 days with my family, and I'm talking like Cliffy from Cheers.
There you go. By the way,
Don't tempt me.
Boston now has one more championship than the Lakers does. They now that was their 19th, I think. So
Well,
Is
there's
that where
too.
But June 19th or Juneth
But anyway,
19th came from?
Wednesday the 19th
Well, we
is
should-
Juneteenth Day.
yeah, we should talk about Juneteenth though.
Yes.
Juneteenth is a very. It's interesting that it's really we have it on the June 19th. I'm not sure if that was exactly the day it happened, but it was the fact that after Abraham Lincoln signed the Emancipation Papers, it didn't get to the people in Texas for a couple of years. So while slaves had been freed, they hadn't been freed in Texas because nobody decided to go down there and tell them. So it was in, I guess, June, but I'm not sure if it was actually on June 19th, but I think that's maybe the day they picked. But that's when actually they found out that they were free and no longer somebody's property, which is a good thing. That's a little Juneteenth.
And okay, it is official. The city hall will be closed.
City Hall's closed.
All city offices are closed except for your trash pickup, which will go like normal.
Just like Christmas Day.
You have an emergency, Burbank Police and Fire will respond.
Oh, they're not taking the day off. They'll be there.
They're
Okay.
still working.
There you
So
go.
And
But-
just to clarify, it is June 19th. Freedom finally came on June 19th, 1865.
Okay.
I remember that.
Does it say when the Declaration was signed by the
Oh, for crying
president?
out loud.
I'm going to make you look at those.
I'm the only one in the studio in the production here with Google, I guess, but
Well, that's because you're the only one not in the studio.
that's true.
Okay.
I'll have to punt on
Well,
that one
okay.
and look it up, and we can
Yeah.
we can put that in later. I'm derelict in my duties here.
But
Not a
but
problem.
now here's a big question. What else was supposed to happen Wednesday? Did
Well,
they cancel
They actually canceled the police commission meeting because
the city hall's closed?
City Hall's closed, and there's no worthless report they can get. So,
Very true.
Wow, there's no worthless report they can do nothing with.
yes, that's kind of a. So in other words, at the end of the
Your
day,
favorite commission.
at the end of the day, the same thing will have happened as always happens. Even if they have a meeting or not, nothing happens.
Well,
Though they didn't note and file.
Yes.
let's resort back a little. Last week, that Paul, what's his name?
Oh, what's his name?
Yeah, Paul, whatever his name, Kokorian guy.
Oh boy.
And we have you have dug up some more information that we're going to be reporting on soon. That
Yeah, we can talk about that for a second.
there's a lot more to it than.
Well, yeah, I wrote the original. I wrote an editorial basically saying, how dare you? Because very unprofessionally handled. All the man had to do is pick up a phone and call the mayor of our city, or
and
call.
still,
Can we do a quick update? What we're
Okay,
context what we're talking about?
Last Friday, Paul Kokorian, who's the president of the LA City Council, and his district is North Hollywood, came across a video of a Burbank police officer letting out a homeless individual on the street who got out of his car and then fell down to the sidewalk, and they drove off. Is it a good look? Absolutely not. Not a good look at all. But there's always context. And the problem is he just got on and called every news station up and said, look at this video. Look at how bad Burbank is. They've been doing this forever. All these cities dump their homeless in our city. And it's
who
like,
didn't he call?
Yeah, he didn't call the mayor. He didn't call Justin Hess, our city manager. He didn't call our police chief, who used to be on his department in L.A. He didn't call anybody. He could have called somebody and said, hey, I got a video that shows this. Can you please look into this? If they would have said, hey, don't worry, okay, have your press conference. But they never had a chance. He just went right for grandstanding. Anyhow, so I've been looking into this a little bit because there's a lot more. I went back first and I pulled the recordings, and I heard that they responded to a call at St. Joseph's Medical Center for a naked individual at the bus bench. When the first officer arrived, he actually found the man near the front of the hospital. They contacted him and said, and tried to talk with him, and he said, look, he goes, I want to go to jail. They go, well, we can't take you to jail because you haven't done anything wrong.
That's the second time. The first time.
He said that for okay. I'm paraphrasing the first time. So anyhow, they said, if we give you, if you put on your clothes, we can give you a ride. He goes, well, I want to ride to Sunland Tahunga where I came from. That's where the paramedics brought me from Sunland Tahunga down to the hospital. That's where I want to go back to. They go, well, we really can't go to Sunland Tahunga, but how about if we take you to the Red Line station in North Hollywood? He said, fine. He put his clothes on. They put him in the back of the police car. They handcuffed him for officer safety reasons, and because that's the policy, he was not under arrest. On his way to the Red Line station, going down Lancashire, he said, stop. I want to go over there and get some coffee. So they stopped. They can't force him to go to the Red Line station. He was not under arrest. He wanted to stop and get out there. They said, fine. They stopped. They got him out. They took the handcuffs off. He was standing up fine. As soon as they got back in the car, he just fell down to the sidewalk. Now, and they left. Now, once again, they left while he was laying down, and like I said, not a good look, but nothing devious about it either. So I looked into a little more, and the officer said when they left with the man that they were transporting one to the Red Line station. They said that on the radio because there's confirmation that's where they're going to go. The only other thing I ever heard was 35 back in the city. So after they dropped him off, they returned to the city, but they didn't say where they dropped him off on the radio. That's probably that's something they need to look at, but that's not a big deal. So I started looking at this, and my first question, because Kokorian said, our staff went and we located the man. He had been seriously injured. He had a leg injury, maybe a broken leg. So I contacted their PR guy, and I said, okay, so what did your staff do for the man? Where is he now? What's going on? And all he would tell me was, our staff found the man, and we called the paramedics, and he was taken to a hospital. Well, guess where he was taken? Right back to St. Joe's. And then next day, they got a call for somebody laying down the street at Parkside and Bob Hope Drive. And guess what? Same man. So I'm looking into right now of what Burbank did for him. It said in the notes that they supplied him with I think they said a Coke and something, I can't remember what it was, but they supplied him with some food, and then they transported him somewhere. So
to the station, if I recall
well,
reading.
it doesn't say exactly in the CAD. I requested documents, but
well,
here's
there's going to be a full report.
Yeah, but here's what's going on. Every time LA has homeless people and their paramedics pick them up, and they should, and provide, they bring them to St. Joe's, and then where do they go after? So basically, LA is bringing them into Burbank to start with. And then number two, I've talked to St. Joe's, our friend Michelle over there, who's a very nice, and she says, look, when there's somebody's homeless and they need to be discharged, we have our people talk to them. They try to help them. They try to give them, assistance in what they need. But she goes, at the end of the day, we still can't force anybody to take assistance. So if they walk out, they still walk out. But it shows that LA paramedics are basically dropping people off in Burbank constantly. So, I mean, once again, no easy answers.
Under the guise of them dropping them off at the hospital.
Yes.
So they have it. That's their excuse,
yeah.
right?
But there's no follow-up. And when I asked the communications head what the follow-up, he said, oh, it's under HIPAA laws. I can't talk about it. In other words, they don't know what happened. They just wanted to have their story, spin it their way, make Burbank the bad guy. They had no intention of helping this man in the long run or following up with him, make sure he has a place to live or anything else. They just wanted to sit there and burn Burbank. And that pissed me off. I'm sorry.
It's real frustrating because what he tried to show that Burbank doesn't care about our homeless, and that is the farthest from the truth.
Absolutely.
I just drove by yesterday the old piano store that they are making into, that place is huge, a homeless, not, so they can get people back on their feet. People that are living in the cars, they're going to have a parking lot there. Look what they're doing at Fire Station 13 with Home LA. Burbank is doing quite a bit. You don't drive a half a block out of Burbank.
Well, let's get a little more into it then.
Well, yeah.
A little more into
about
it.
We shine a light on Mr. Krikorian's great success that is the city of Los Angeles.
Yeah, why don't you let's drive on one of his underpasses and look at all the people. It's funny. I don't see a lot of tents and problems in Toluca Lake, but I do see them in the parts of North Hollywood. They're not affluent.
Well, look what Forest Lawn Drive looked like last year.
Absolutely.
And what it took to get that cleared up, because it was out of sight, out of mind for Los Angeles. But we have, actually, to foreshadow, we have another event coming up we're going to talk about for a sec in a bit about Home LA.
Right. And I'll get in real fast. My story is just about done. I've been waiting to get a response from Burbank actually to find out where the man was taken, because you never want to identify the man was or what is anything about him, personally. But I want to do a follow up. But here's the bottom line. Burbank was duped 6-7 years ago into voting for this thing called Measure H, where we were charged our sales tax went up 1/4 of a cent. Well, that 1/4 of a cent has been bringing in millions and millions and millions of dollars into the county of Los Angeles for homeless. And Burbank, I think, has seen, I can't remember, it was either 2% or 4% of all the money that they have collected from Burbank taxpayers has been returned to Burbank. All that money is going to Los Angeles and other cities to help the homeless, but we have to scrounge here to make the Hollywood Piano Place, to make the old Station 13. We're coming up with city funds to do it because we can't get the money that was put in by our citizens in sales tax, and that alone, and how many programs are in LA that are just failing, left and right, and yet we can't get any of that money because
doesn't LA get all of our rainwater?
They get all of our rainwater too, and they seem to be happy. Burbank seems to be happy with that though. I'm not, but I've let that go. But I just think, now I understand there's another proposal coming up they want to put on the ballot now, another homeless thing that where Los Angeles will get all the money and Burbank will get nothing. So when it comes to fruition, I'll let people know. But right now, we've been ripped off on Measure H.
Can anybody expect your editorial about the Krikorian thing?
It should have come out on, well, no, the editorial went out last week. The editorial went out last Monday, in fact. And the follow-up story was supposed to go out today, but I won't say who. Somebody did not get back to me today with the information I requested, so I didn't want to put the story
it's
out.
pending, but
It'll be out tomorrow. It should be out tomorrow on Tuesday. Yes,
on myburbank.com.
Yeah, more of a news story than an editorial this time. It's more of a factual thing.
Gotcha. And on Thursday, the 20th, we have one of our favorite recurring events in the city. Mr. Burbank, would you like to tell us about it?
It appeared on my calendar. It was not on the mayor's calendar. I noticed it's not on the city. I was reminded today to be there. It's a ribbon cutting at Forward Fighting Club. It's a boxing club up on Glen Oaks, 539 North Glen Oaks. It's taking place at 5:30. It's a chamber ribbon cutting, and
by the way, we're on Thursday now, just so everybody knows. We've moved to Thursday.
oh yes, I'm sorry. Yes, this is happening on Thursday.
Well,
And
I mentioned that.
Okay, I'm sorry.
But if they really wanted to be on point with this, they would have the event at 5:39.
Yeah, there you go.
Since that's the address.
Oh,
I'll repeat it again for you, Ross, if you want.
thank you very much. I'm sitting here scratching my head, going, "What the hell is he referring to?" 5:39.
Well, I got a feeling by the time they start anyway, it would probably be 5:39.
All right,
It may very well be.
Here's some trivia for you. I read a report. I listened to the Park and Rec Board meeting. They're talking about McCambridge Park. Here's a little trivia for you that you could ask your next door neighbor. The McCambridge Park pool holds 397,000 gallons of water. Now, isn't that a bit of some useful information?
They couldn't make it 400,000?
I guess not.
Couldn't round up? Huh. All right. You know, I had to forget a month of my childhood to make room for that new information. Thanks a lot.
There's a little trivia for you. You said you had a slow show. I did some digging.
All right. So if you're in a local bar or a eatery or whatever, you can ask everybody for the over-under on how many gallons of water
and anybody who had
Cambridge
pool
holds.
Anybody that had 397 gallons of water at McCambridge Pool on their bingo card, congratulations.
Win a chicken dinner.
What's going on Friday?
Well, it's Go Skate Day.
Oh, great. Somewhere I can break. No.
So Valley Skate Park is having a Go Skate Day where it's free to go skate there. And, that's over on Clybourne and Edison.
At Valley Skate Park.
Right, yeah. So,
but not just skating. They're going to have food, games, music, and much more.
Much more.
Well, I used to go to cover those because our good friend, I got it, I think I get 3 pats on the back. Mike Graceffo used to be in charge of that skate park, and he gets prizes, he gets skateboards, he used
to get that stuff.
Right.
He doesn't work in the city anymore, so he's not there.
Well, but they still give away tons of stuff. I was there, they're cooking burgers and hot dogs, and they got all the condiments to go with it. And, it's a great thing. If your kid is into skating, if you haven't been out there, it's a great event for your kid to do.
Well, let's move on to the weekend. Oh, yeah. I guess Friday, Saturday, and Sunday would be it's a 3-day weekend for this event. And we're talking about the Burbank Cultural Market. That's been going on for probably about a year now, hasn't it?
Yeah.
I think you should put on your calendar and stop by some weekend. Now, are they serving food there and all that? We had a little controversy about that.
We all know where you're going with that question.
Well, I was want to know did they get that worked out?
I believe so, but it started off as a Friday night gig.
Right. It got more and more popular.
It got very popular. They doing it on Saturday. They're doing it Saturday, Sunday. I believe I'm not sure how they're preparing the food. There was some food being offered there, but the kind of the neat thing about that, would you believe the monies that they collect at that event, 10% of it is going to Home LA to help our homeless?
That was the tease I put out a little while ago. But just to talk about the actual event for a second here, what it is, it occurs by the AMC, right?
Correct.
On the pedestrian path.
They call the walkway, right?
The walkway, right?
The Palm Walkway.
And there's 25 local.
Isn't it actually
rotating?
called the Paseo? Called the Paseo. If you ever go there, and there's signs that says, I don't know why, but it's called the Paseo.
Okay,
I
well,
don't know where I'm sorry, Craig. Go ahead.
we'll trust you with that.
I interrupted
Well, I'm just
Craig.
trying to explain what the event actually is, rather than the what about the food. But it's 25 local and rotating vendors selling everything from jewelry to toys to soaps, bath bombs, not actual bombs, candles, cakes, hot sauces, stuff like that. So it's not completely unlike the Jackalope Fair that occurs every year on San Fernando. But this event is going on Fridays, Saturday, and Sundays. The hours, as I see here, Friday and Saturday from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m., and on Sundays from 3 p.m. to 8 p.m. So in the afternoon, early evening, where people are probably walking around that area in the evening after a movie, before or after dinner. But check it out, because they do, all of the vendors chip in and donate a lot of the proceeds to Home Again LA.
And I'm just curious, Craig, what is some of the stuff they actually offer? You just said that, but isn't there?
But what are the kind of people who actually make this product?
Well, they're artisans.
Oh, yeah, there you
These
go.
are artisanal products.
We
made
set you up.
by artisans. Well, he needed to, because I completely forgot my own cue on that one.
Oh, okay, well, there you go.
But these many of these products are actually handmade by local artisans. And what is that horn that woke everybody up at this late hour?
Ross, what do we have there?
Mr.
What does that
Sherwood?
mean?
That is the word of the week.
There we
What's
go.
the word of the week?
I'm not going to say
It's artisan.
Artisan.
I'm looking at it. And what do they
word
win?
of the week. So now that you've heard the word of the week, just like our winner we announced at the beginning of the show, email that word, artisan or artisans, to contest at the horn's over now. Okay, artisan. It's a contest at myburbank.com. And put your mailing address in the text to the email, and we'll put you in the drawing to win the $25 gift card to the wonderful and local Hill Street Cafe.
Over on Glen Oaks.
And guess what? I have found, I just was told, July, any day now, there's a new restaurant opening up there called Slices. It's a real name, Slices. Has nothing to do with the Slices that's on Riverside Drive in Evergreen. This is a family-run operation. They have one out in Santa Clarita, which I have been told is dynamite.
When we get to that in July, let's bring it up in the show and we'll talk about it.
Well, but a lot of people, have not. When's the last time you went downtown? I mean, all the new shops down there.
3 days ago.
Well, did you see the new apartments across the street and the pet store and the dry cleaner and the workout shop?
I see a lot of things.
This gift card is for Hill Street Cafe,
Yes,
a wonderful sponsor and a wonderful local restaurant.
So there's a lot going on downtown. It's you want to get out, get some exercise, go check it all out.
There we go. Now on Saturday, I think we're moving right to we're moving to Saturday here.
22nd of June.
We're moving on to what used to be called Civitan Day. Used to have a Civitan Day on one Saturday and then Ponytail Jamboree on the second week, but our friends at Park and Recreation decided too much work for 2 different days. So they've put them all in one day now. So I think they call it the let's see here. I don't have the name for it, but it's a Civitan Jamboree. That's what they put the 2 words together. It's a Civitan Jamboree now. And they used to have competitions back in the day.
They still do.
And I know I actually won a medal for hitting a ball. I came in second place for hitting a ball a certain distance. So I was very excited.
Has it landed yet?
No, it was a ball.
Still going.
It was a ball.
Well, they do the awards.
But it's not in Colorado either, so it had nothing to do with it.
All the kids that are in, is that Little League and all the small
Hat Minor.
They have a parade. It starts at John Burroughs High School, the Parish and Clark. Used to, years ago, come down from Burbank High. I remember my son in the back of a truck.
When I was a kid. That's how it went for me too.
You can't have kids in the back of trucks anymore. But now it's a walking parade. Comes from John Burroughs. Kicks off, I think, at about 8:30. All those kids and every team. And I don't know how many Sandoval Dodgers there are, but there are a lot.
They all walk down Clark.
They all walk down Clark. The Park and Rec Board and a lot of people. They end up at Olive Rec. They have a stage. They present all these team members. They do some big awards there. And then they have competition, base running, throw for accuracy.
Yeah, they've cut down a lot of what they used to do. They
Oh,
used to
yeah.
have hitting and all these other things, and they kind of all. I used to be
The events take place at Isaiah Park, right?
Isaiah Park on the main field.
Right. Goes till 1 p.m., I believe.
Right.
And they've now made it, you got to remember, Parks and Rec is part of the animal shelter. They're out there with dogs and animals that you can maybe adopt, and there's other booths going on. And it's called Civitan Day, and we used to have a nonprofit in this community called the Civitans.
They used to come and cook hot dogs every year.
Well, last year they changed it because a lot of the members of Civitan, I'll say Gary Brick's one of them, he every year would go in the kitchen of Jocelyn there, and they'd cook up hundreds of kosher hot dogs. I mean, I don't know if
Well, back in the days, actually, there was a
snack bar,
right next to the main grandstands
right?
before they tore those down, and they tore out the snack bar also.
So last year they brought in a food truck, Wiener Schnitzel, I think it is. Don't they sell hot dogs? Parked it on Olives. The kids went up there, and they're kind of known to make hot dogs and all the condiments. But the Civitan pays for that, and they are the club that we have done articles in the past of Civitan members. There's several of them that have passed away, but I have shot their pictures for many years, and they're the ones that support the money and help out. So it's a great day. Come on out to Olive Rec. Wear your SPF 35. For me, it's SPF 135. But come on out.
So this time of year, there's always something to do in town on the weekend, right?
Oh, definitely. At this one, there's jump houses and bounce houses and other activities. So come see what your Parks and Rec department's putting on.
8:30 to 1, George Isaiah Park. Now, Mr. Sherwood, please tell me we've reached that part.
We've reached that part,
Of
and
the
that
show.
part that actually the reason that people even listen to the show I don't understand anymore, and that would be
Ross's rant. Ross's rant. Ross's rant.
I'd take a flamethrower to this place.
Me. What's up, Doc?
All right. I got a couple of them. First of all, I got to share some good news. I drove down Glen Oaks the other day, and that weed that is at Scott and Glen Oaks that was taller than my granddaughter got cut down. I was blown away on a Sunday. I don't know who did it. Not a city employee, not a forestry person. Somebody went out there and cut it and cleaned it all up. I was shocked. But I'm hearing calls on the scanner. Everybody, and you see it on social media, was that a gunshot? Did we have gunshots? Did we have If you're around the border, I live up Glen Oaks and Scott area. I'll tell you, Sun Valley.
well, those probably are gunshots there.
But right now, everybody's buying their fireworks and they're firing them off. My son lives, Midtown, and they hear it from North Hollywood. Folks, don't panic. I know it's horrible for dogs. I know it's horrible for people that have PTSD. Don't go firing off your fireworks. I think people are smart enough, and I'm going to let Craig talk about this, Craig Durling, because we used to go downtown during some of these events, and people will fire guns. And yes, we want to celebrate July 4th. Take your show to a real show, to a community show. How many fires did we have this weekend? They're fighting fires today. The brush is drier than dry can be. All it takes is one sparkler. I've shot pictures. I saw a shot picture of a kid that took a sparkler to his hand, and it's just so dangerous. Craig, how many times have you been downtown that goes a little crazy?
It gets crazy all the time. Any season, any holiday that has fireworks associated with it, whether it's 4th of July, which I know we're a couple weeks away, but we've entered that season. You're probably already starting to hear fireworks go off in your neighborhood. New Year's Eve, we used to deploy right before midnight under freeway overpasses because we wouldn't get hit by the fallout of, errant fireworks, but also falling bullets.
Well, we had a friend, Jeff Miller, a good friend of ours, who was under an underpass, standing talking to us.
Got hit in the leg.
And he said, ouch.
Yeah.
And a bullet, we were under an underpass. The bullet came down, ricocheted off his bumper, and hit his knee.
Yeah, I remember that.
And it goes to show you, even if you're under underpass, it's not safe.
Whatever goes up
Well,
must come
you know,
down.
and you wouldn't think it would need to be said, but this is all illegal. Fireworks are illegal in Burbank. Shooting guns into the air is illegal in Burbank. It's illegal in LA City as well. But for some reason, it turns into the Wild West on these holidays. But something to say about the fireworks. Yes, there are fire hazards, structures, and brush. So if you got hearing fireworks in your neighborhood go off, keep an eye on the brush around your home, the bushes, the roof, sheds, things like that, because some of these larger fireworks that people manage to get a hold of, that debris can fall to the ground or land on a roof or blow in an open window and start a fire. So be diligent around your property when you hear fireworks going off, for sure. But take care of the critters, your four-legged friends, especially dogs. They're very sensitive to the booms and the noise of the fireworks. And if you own a dog, I'm sure you already know how traumatized they are when this stuff goes on. So give them some extra special attention. So watch out for the furry friends for sure. But yeah, and really, I put this note in here in response to your rant about the fireworks, Ross, which is good timing for the season we're entering now. But they may very well. The bangs you hear may very well, unfortunately, be gunshots. So don't look up. Just be aware of your surroundings and watch
folks,
out for
when you
things
think
falling
about
to the
it,
ground.
okay, you hear fireworks on your block. You look outside and somebody has set up a whatever display in the middle of the street. It burns out. You call Burbank police to complain about it. By the time they get out there, they see the debris in the street. There's nobody around. It's kind of useless calling in unless you have pictures. And I'm not saying go out and get yourself in trouble. Your neighbor's firing off, whatever in the street, but
Or
the
if you see them
delay.
setting it up, then do it.
Right. If you see them setting it up, I used to work a task force every year on 4th of July and New Year's, basically an arson and fireworks task force. We were all paired with members of the fire department, and we would just chase calls. We were dedicated to chasing fireworks calls, and we confiscated pallets every year of illegal fireworks. And let's not even get into the injuries that occur every year. Adults and children losing fingers, hands, being disfigured by these fireworks. Parents, use some sense. Keep your kids away from this stuff.
And people don't understand. Okay, let's say you report fireworks. The Burbank Air Unit is going to fly all over Burbank. Their camera can see a mile away. And they have a device on the helicopter called a FLUR, forward-looking, ultra-red, whatever. Infrared. They can lock on a house a quarter mile away and lock into it and fly over it and get the address so those officers know exactly where to go. I've heard it. I listened to them. It's amazing how far away they can pinpoint their camera. And think about it. Fireworks is very, very hot. Those things cook at, 1,1300 degrees. So it's going to show up on their floor real easy. And then they're going to come over and you're going to get a knock on your door or whatever. And Burbank will be, talking to your kid or whatever. So parents, be responsible for your kids.
And I'll just take a couple of seconds to add a caveat to that, since we mentioned that the police helicopters will be airborne in these nighttime hours for these kind of calls. The temptation is there, happens every time in these holidays. Don't point lasers at the helicopters or any aircraft. It's incredibly dangerous for those on the aircraft and the pilots. It blinds them. It's also very illegal. It's a felony. And if they know where it's coming from, and they'll pinpoint it, but don't point the lasers. People think it's harmless. It is not. I've been at the receiving end of those lasers inside a dark helicopter, and it is not fun.
Well, it's funny that you say that, Craig, because I listened to the Burbank Tower, and planes coming in on any of the runways, if they get hit by a laser, they report it that fast. Yep. The tower marks exactly where that plane was. They call the local air support, police usually. They'll go out, and most people are dumb enough to repeat the exercise and shine it up at the police helicopter, and then they lock in on them. And you're going to
Well, if
have
they
officers.
get their jollies the first time doing it, they're probably dumb enough to get their jollies doing it the second time.
Exactly. And now there's these lasers are brighter. They're colored, because they use them for other events. There's construction ones, but don't be lighting them up the helicopter, because the eyesight to our pilots and observers, that can put a helicopter down immediately.
Yep. Well, we'll have a couple more opportunities in the next couple shows here to get a little more in depth on that. But we just wanted to start the topic.
I'm not sure we'll get more in depth than we just did, but we can try.
Well, and if you find fireworks, if your kid gets it from a friend, you don't know what to do with it, you can take it. You can call the police and fire department. The fire department every year, every station collects fireworks, and they dispose of it properly.
Yep.
But if your kid brings some fireworks home, you find it in their room, take it away from them. Take it to the fire department, or call and say, hey, my kid got some fireworks. What do I do with it? And find out properly how to dispose of it. Because old fireworks is dangerous.
Well, whoever listened to your rant last week and removed the weed, I hope they're listening to this, because I'm going to tell you, I'm driving around. For somebody who says I don't drive, I do get around the corner of Hollywood Way and Clark. Used to be a nursery there.
Looks pretty bad, doesn't it?
Well, no, it looks, if you like weeds, because the entire lot that used to be a garden is weeds. The entire parkway on Clark and on Hollywood Way is complete weeds that are 6 to 8 feet. Not a weed. It's a weed family there.
Well, see, what gets me, that is, the city made the deal with Los Angeles as the farmers, like they did over at Pass and at Chandler. The city was going to put in a community farm there, community garden. And Dave Golonsky was very involved with it. I remember him out there pulling weeds. I don't know what happened, because the city made the deal.
That's the lot. But what about the parkways?
Well,
the parkways are an absolute eyesore.
Bring in the goats.
Well, no, it's funny you say that. Driving up Magnolia today, I noticed the tree wells in front of a couple of the weeds are 4 feet high. Why can't we get the dig group on a weekend to borrow the weed eaters that our city forestry doesn't use, and go just walk up Magnolia and cut the weeds?
All you do is just bring their hose.
Bring the hose?
Wash them in the stream? The gardening implement.
Oh, okay.
Anyhow, you know what? Maybe that might be a good video to go do. Do a video of all these weeds that are taking our landscape.
I think we should embed with one of these, a video crew from my Burbank with one of these dig events.
We could. It's funny you say that, because I know we had a lot of rain, and that's what they're going to say. We had a ton of rain, and that's why we have a ton of weeds. But you know what? I tell you, I'm popping.
I don't have those weeds in my house. You have those weeds in your house?
No, I don't.
They only grow in certain places, or people take care of their properties.
You'd think that maybe they'd plan for such an occasion.
Yeah, it's embarrassing. Hollywood and Clark is an embarrassing.
Well, you better watch it, because people do listen to my rants, and I will.
Yeah, but they don't care about my rants.
We'll see. We'll see. Don't.
Ross, I have a feeling whoever assassinated your weed, check your mailbox in the next couple of days. You might get a weed in the mail.
Yeah, but what's really weird, that day that the two Craigs helped me out and called the paramedics, I got a bill.
Is that next week's rant?
I'm going to save it. Yeah, I got a bill. They didn't take me anywhere, and I got a bill. We're going to talk about that.
Well, can't wait for that one.
We're going to save that for next week.
There's a tease.
We're going to talk about that for next week's show.
Wow, I can hardly wait. That's
They didn't take me anywhere. I drove home. I had somebody drive me home.
Save it.
Oh, I'm going to.
That's a tease. We're teasing next week. That's a big one.
All I can say is thank God for Medicare. Anyhow,
I got Medicare.
Well, they'll pay your bill. I mean, and it won't come out of your pocket. That's what insurance is for. But the point is, you got a bill.
what I think's kind of funny, they mailed it to my address. Didn't even give my address. And they had all my information.
Well,
Oh, you're in the system.
yeah.
Yeah, you're
You
right.
called them before.
With that being said, Mr. Sherwood, my pillow awaits.
For those listening in the morning, this is actually at night. So, okay, that's all I've got. From Zoomland with Craig Durling to Ross Benson, this is Craig Sherwood saying, have a great week, and we'll get with you again next week. Thanks again for listening.
My Burbank Talks would like to thank all of My Burbank's advertisers for their continued support. Burbank Water and Power, Cusimano Real Estate Group, UME Credit Union, Burbank Chamber of Commerce, Gain Credit Union, Providence St. Joseph Medical Center, Community Chevrolet, Media City Credit Union, UCLA Health, Tequila's Burbank, Logix Credit Union, Hill Street Cafe, Bertain Escobar Wealth Management, and the UPS Store on 3rd Street.